Welcome to another weekly roundup. Ben, the Amputee Angler, if you're new here. Right, this week we're talking about, or we will do, two really controversial subjects, and I try and ask you to take it as an adult conversation as they are, and do not do what a lot of people do and throw toys out the pram. Bass conversion charts will be the first one in a minute, and then we're going to talk about fake YouTubing and buying subscribers, buying views, and general fakeness on the YouTube. Just a quick one though, I don't know where you are in the country, but temperatures have dropped here in Sussex. Winter has finally arrived at the late old day of end of November. It's been really mild this year, really mild. Water temperature is still 14-15 degrees. It's been ridiculously warm again, but that is a reoccurring theme. Not to go over weather patterns again, but it is a reoccurring theme. But it has finally dropped. We're down into the low digits now, 2 or 3 degrees. Squid fishing is peaking. I've got another couple of weeks of it here in Sussex, I think, about the end. Normally first week in December it stops here, give or take, on the first full moon in December. I'm going to try tonight, but that beach regeneration is like that. So I'm probably only going to get one more go at it because it'll just drain my body so much to get back up of it. But other than that, yeah, bit of squidding, and we've got a sea trial. Yeah, we got a boat sea trial on Wednesday. So like I've already alluded to, I know what boat I'm getting. A deal has already been done. I just haven't passed the money over yet, which obviously, you know, nothing's done till it's done. We're doing a bit of a sea trial. Never buy a boat without, one, looking over it, or two, doing a sea trial. Only idiots buy boats without looking at them or doing a sea trial, or knowing the boat. If you know the boat, then clearly you don't have to do a sea trial if you're buying your mate's boat or someone you know. But yeah, never buy a boat without looking at it. But yeah, sea trial on Wednesday. Right, I got into a debate, that's wrong. I joined a debate on Wednesday. Good friend of mine, Craig, very good bass fisherman. He's caught some bass that a lot of people would dream of catching. I think one year he had 10 double-figure fish from the shore, this is. You know, he knows his stuff, does a lot of articles, or previously, and he's writing a book in a minute. He asked a question on the bass, UK bass fishing group. When a fish gets to a certain size, a bass in his case, he was asking for, conversion charts are pretty much useless. Now, there's two types of people, bass fishermen I've seen, and normally it's bait fishermen and lure fishermen that I've sort of seen have the different opinions. And that is the people that will give their size of fish in centimetres. So they won't weigh it, they'll put it on a little tape, and then they do a conversion chart that says X amount of centimetres converts to X amount of pounds. And then they go, oh yeah, I've had this fish that weighed this much, but they didn't weigh it. And then you have the people who will weigh their fish. Won't care about the centimetres. They just weigh it because that's the best way of getting the weight. Now, you'd think that would be the common sense answer, but it seems down the last few years that actually people are going over to measuring their bass and not worrying about the weights. You know, a lot of people don't worry about the weights unless it's a big fish anyway, which is fine. But there's a growing trend now of going, I've got a new personal best of 81 centimetres. But like, you know, why are you trying to do a conversion chart when you can just weigh it? Now, the pros and cons of that, I've seen people say that, well, you don't want to get the fish and then weigh it because it's more stress on the fish. Well, my point of view, and I prefer to weigh fish just for clarity. If you've stuck a hook in a fish, spent 5-10 minutes dragging it out of its home onto land, and if you're a shore fisherman, especially around here, you've dragged it over a sharp rocky reef up onto the shingle, what harm is it sticking it in a nice quick waste thing or landing net and getting a true weight of your fish? If it's a fish that you want to get the weight off. You know, a lot of people don't, they just release them, put them back, and the argument is invalid anyway. Same on the boat, and the argument is, well, you can't get an accurate weight on the boat. Some days out there on the bigger boats, you know, if you've got a tiny little tub where you're rolling around a lot, yeah, you might not get an accurate weight if you're using analog. But digital scales, they've now got the ones where it freezes on the weight. And you've only got to do that a couple of times, and you've got yourself an average to get the weight. So I've never understood the centimetres argument. And like I said, take this as a debate, not as a preachy thing, because it's not. You do whatever you want to do. But But me personally, I've never seen the sense in trying to guess what a fish weighs with a conversion chart when you can just weigh it. Because conversion charts, you can have 3 fish and they'll all be different sizes in weight terms, despite all measuring the same length. Winter time, you know, when fish are spawned up, obviously they're going to weigh a big difference to when they're not spawned up. And the charts don't change. X amount centimetres is X amount of weight, whether it's a winter fish or a summer fish. So I've never understood that argument, but it's each to their own. But it was just going off. It's like politics, you know, whether you vote Labour or Conservative, Reform, or whoever your colour of politics is, when you start debating politics, Christ, it just blows up, doesn't it? And bass measuring charts are the same. And what I will say on that as well is using congers as an example, and more recently tuna, beach regeneration going on behind me there, that big lorry. So conger eels, congers over 30 pounds, the conversion charts are completely useless because some carry on growing to get longer, others get fat. So the weights are completely skewed after 30 pounds for an eel. And tuna, they've just brought out, or I've seen some boats have, a more accurate measure for the tuna. Now, I don't fish tuna. I'm going off of what the experts have been saying and shown. And it turns out that the measuring charts that people have been measuring tuna with are massively out by 100, 200 pounds in some instances. And the reason they've got this data is because obviously we've got commercial landings going on. So they're actually able to get the tuna landed, measure it, and then weigh it beforehand. So they can get a sensible actual gauge of what X amount of length equals X amount of weight. Obviously, because recreational angling is completely catch and release, so you can't then get it out to actually physically weigh it. But yeah, the tuna charts are way out, and the bass charts, I think, are, yeah, I will be weighing my fish, let's just say that. Right, next one. Weekly topic. Really controversial, and again, if you're going to throw your toys at the pram, I ask you, try not to, and take it as a conversation piece that it is. Fake YouTubing and buying views and subscribers. Now, if you're just a viewer, you're probably not going to be interested in this, but you might find some sort of interesting take on it. And of course, if you are a YouTuber watching this with me, you will either be on the side that agrees with me, or you might be one of the people that is buying the subscribers and views. A lot of private debate. This is not something that's discussed much publicly on any Facebook page or forum, really, because those that are doing it won't admit to doing it, and those that aren't doing it all know who the ones are anyway that are doing it. And that's buying the fake subscribers and the fake viewers to try and seem like your channel is doing better than it is, or to inflate your viewing numbers for sponsorship, which I think some of this is about. So like I said, if you're just a viewer, you're not going to care whether someone's got numbers or not. You're going to either like the person's video or you're not. But as someone that makes the videos and wants to put out decent content, and you know, you're going to make bad videos and you're going to have videos that do well and the rest of it, it gets really frustrating to watch channels who haven't put in 3/4 or half as much effort as other channels have. And I'm not just talking about me. This isn't a me thing. This is a conversation that I've been having with 6 or 7 different YouTube channels over the last few months, really. Because like I said, we can all spot who's doing it, and there's apps and software that tells you who's doing it. And how you know is you get large spikes in subscribers or views with no corresponding video that's done well. Or you'll get a video out of nowhere that's done really well, and they will say, oh, it gained 8,000 subscribers. Now, unless you are a massive channel, and we're talking a couple of 100,000, even one good video that does for 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views, you do not gain thousands of subscribers from that one video. You don't. You just don't. I've had a couple of videos that have done well. My Norway underwater one, prime example, 117,000 views, which is mental. And it got me 400 new subscribers for 117,000 views. Now that could just be unique to me. Someone else might have a video with lots more subscribers from it. But I'm telling you now, it isn't thousands. And there's a few of us that have seen some channels go from 1,000, 2,000 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers within a week. Now, the way these things work is you buy a package, you'll pay 30 quid, and they will trickle feed over all the Indian and Pakistani and wherever the bots are from. And sometimes they're not bots, sometimes they are people who will just follow a channel, but they don't watch your stuff anyway. So people will literally go from a very small channel, getting a modest number of views, to suddenly overnight having 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, or sometimes it's just 1,000 to 5,000 subscribers, you know. But it takes an eternity, especially in a market which is small. Boat fishing in the UK is a really small market. It's a tiny market compared to, say, carp fishing. For real carp fishing, it's opened up to the whole world because there's a whole host of countries that carp fish seriously. So when you talk about the big carp brands, they've got massive channels and there's some massive carp angling channels. But boat fishing in the UK, targeting pollock, conger eels and bass, it's a small market. They call it a TAM, total allowable market. It's tiny and everyone's trying to get a piece of that. And it takes a long time to grow your channel and it's hard work. And when you've been doing it legitimately, like I have, and there's a few other channels that do it legitimately, and, you know, they grow it slowly, it gets frustrating to suddenly watch someone go, oh, yeah, I've gained loads of subscribers of a video. And you put the software in, you can see they've jumped up thousands overnight and in the week. And they just pass it off like we don't know. And it's really frustrating, and it shouldn't bother us. And I'm saying this, I'm the one telling you the information now. So anyone who got any problem with that will give flack to me and not the other people who aren't talking about it. But it's all spoken about in private circles. But it's going to come a cropper because at some point YouTube's going to get all these fake channels gone. And suddenly your subscriber count's going to plunge. And it will destroy your channel anyway, because these Indians and whatever else all around that, I don't mean to be racist there, I'm just using them because a lot of these bots are from India, Pakistani, Thailand, all that sort of stuff. That's how they make their money, is they're not even watching your stuff anyway, or they're leaving you one comment answers. That's a really good way of spotting one, is to go in their comment section and spot all the comments that just don't line up with the video and they're all one word answers. That's a good way of spotting it. But it's just fake, and it really puts I'm trying to find the right word. It makes a mockery of those that are working hard to build channels for the people, and obviously those that have got sponsors. But I do hear as well, actually, I'm going off on a tangent slightly, but there's a couple of large companies now. One's a tackle company and one is an engine manufacturer, and they've clocked onto this, and they're now starting to vet anyone who they want to try and get on board. They're looking that their social numbers are genuine. So yeah, I'm not going to name names, but a few people, there's one or two locally who went for a phase of buying followers and views, and their channel went whoop, and they've obviously stopped because they've realised it's a pointless exercise, and their subscribers have actually stayed the same for months now. In fact, they're actually going down, whereas the genuine ones who are building up momentum, getting 300-400 subscribers a month genuinely, they're growing. So it doesn't pay. I don't have anything else to say on that, and I'll probably get some comeback on that. And like I said, if you just watch YouTube, you're not going to care. But if you're a creator and someone who films their stuff and is trying their hardest, it gets very frustrating to see others taking the easy, cheap way out. And it makes you think twice about people sometimes when you sit back and watch it and suddenly you see them cheating. It does give you a bit of it makes you look at them differently, let's just say that. So that is my weekly roundup. Bit of a vent, bit of a moan this week, I'm sorry. But we do have the boat trial on Wednesday. I'm really hoping we have some good news soon, and we get to show you what I've been working on, because I'm excited. So yeah, can't wait. Hopefully sometime next month, maybe in the new year, but we're waiting on a few things I've alluded to before. But yeah, look, thanks for watching. I really enjoy this. This is just a chit chat, all right? Don't try not to take offense to anything that's been said there about the bass charts and the YouTubing. We're all grown adults. We can have adult conversations. If you disagree with me on anything, just tell me and we can have a chat about it. But yeah, thank you for watching. See you all again soon. Let me know if you've got any thoughts or opinions on that. Catch you in next week's video.